Hey everybody, this is Tucker with Mac Kiteboarding and welcome to another Foil Fridays. Today we're going to take a look at some new F1 foils, but specifically the F1 Eagle hydrofoil. This is a brand new release. I've been riding it a little bit and just give you some brief overview of this foil and then my impressions after riding it to give you an idea of kind of who this is for and what it can do for you. All right, so this is the Eagle foil. This is the highest aspect foil in the F1 line for 2022. It's really been designed for fast, aggressive riding, downwinding. Obviously you can see this aspect ratio here, 9.5. That's very high. Even for a 990 centimeter foil, it's got a 97 centimeter wingspan. So decent sized wingspan, but not so much that it's hard to turn. 990 centimeters squared. So that's a pretty big wingspan for a foil that's just under 1,000 centimeters squared. This kit, when you buy it as a plane, comes with the extra small fuselage extension. And what we have here is the DW210, downwind 210 stabilizer, which is very high aspect and slim and fast as well. You can see here on the wingtips, we've got some little winglets here. They are very thin and sleek. Just give it some direction, some traction. When you're going Mach 10, you really don't want to be slipping out, so that helps with that. But of course, you can trim these down as you need to suit your riding style. I just take it little by little to make sure you don't overdo it, because adding them back on is much more difficult. Looking at the front edge here, and see this thing is tiny. I mean, it's like, man, it's like pinky finger thin, and even more thin than that. And then it really tapers off as you get to the tip here. The tips are super slim and thin, fast, really efficient. And it's got a bit of kind of a V-shaped anhedral downward bend that gives it a bit more room in the tip, but also a little bit of stability and traction. So there she is, F1 Eagle 990. Now, I've been testing this for a little while now. When I first put it in my hands, I'm like, whoa, this thing's pretty small, it's pretty thin, it's really sleek. When am I gonna ride this foil? Like, I'm 200 pounds, probably close to 220, 230 even, with all my cold water gear on. So I was a little hesitant on this foil because usually, you know, kind of my everyday drivers, you know, depending on the design, are somewhere between maybe 1,100–1,200 centimeters, or even a little bigger in a light wind day. But I don't ride a ton of 1,000 centimeter foils, and when I do, it's usually pretty windy, pretty wavy to necessitate that. Now with the higher aspect on this, it's impressive how much low speed lift you get as long as you have a decent amount of power. Out there wing foiling, you know, I had as little as maybe 18 to 20 knots, and I was able to get this up fairly easy with a 5 meter. It definitely likes to go fast. You know, the stall speed isn't going to be, you know, anywhere as near as low as something like the 7C's 1200. But for a high aspect, thin, fast foil like this at 990 centimeters squared, it actually has a pretty respectable low speed stall speed. You can, you know, as long as you're flying level, you know, you can really glide it out at a low speed for an impressive distance at a low speed. And I really didn't expect that. So big thumbs up to the people at F1 making a more accessible foil at this level of performance, because I think a lot of times you kind of reserve these kind of foils for only the best of the best days. And, you know, if anything, you're a little bit maybe hesitant to grab it, even when you do, because you're like, man, am I gonna have enough? You know, is it gonna give me enough lift, or am I just gonna struggle this whole time? I had no problems getting it on foil, and once I was on foil, this thing is really hard to stop. It's just got so much efficiency, so much glide, and it builds speed so efficiently, and like, you can just build speed so effortlessly that like, you almost never even really flirt with, you know, the low speed problem unless you're just really not having enough wind or enough wave push. you know, it's pretty impressive how quickly you gain momentum on this foil and can keep that momentum. At one point in my session, I went way upwind into the lake. There's some wind shadow and just some really crappy wind. And I was still able to really milk it out without much trouble. I mean, I had like almost no power in my sail and I'm kind of pumping it. And as long as I kept it up, there's no way if I fell I would have started again, but man, it just glided so nicely on the little bumps of power I was providing and just kind of, you know, pumping the foil at the same time. It really just glided out for an impressive distance. And it's just got such little drag through the foil that it just keeps going. You could see how this would be a top choice for downwinders because it just keeps going, keeps building speed, and it overtakes waves so quickly and easily. Like you're just on one, even if it's a little piece of chop, you know, you're just on it and give it a couple of quick pumps and it just accelerates out and over the next wave, which is really hard to do when you're downwinding. You know, a lot of times you're kind of just riding what's there, or maybe bumping back or to the side to get to another wave. But man, this thing will overtake some swell as long as you got your speed going. And it's really impressive, especially for a foil this size. I keep saying it, but I've been so impressed by the amount of lift and efficiency of this foil at that size. That really, you know, if you're, you know, more experienced foiler, maybe intermediate or more, and you have decent power in your sail, give one of these foils a real consideration because, man, they're so quick. They're insane upwind, like effortless, just whew, right upwind. And getting your way back downwind, again, is just so easy to just cruise. You know, the pump is so smooth and quick, you know, just some quick little short pumps and you just, whew, it just accelerates. So really amped on this. The HM stabilizer is definitely really nice and gives you that pumping performance and that glide, you know, assisting the shape of the front wing. And in the turns, again, is impressive for a foil, you know, with this much wingspan at this size, you know, kind of expect it like, oh, if I burn too much speed in a turn, it's just gonna stall out and fall, or like, I'm not gonna be able to take a tight enough turn, you know, at speed because of the wingspan. And I've been super impressed with this thing. It is a ripper, so much fun in turns, and it's really impressive how it recovers out of those hard turns, even when you decelerate a little bit. You know, it's just kind of takes back off once you level it out. And even breaching the wingtips, you know, you think, okay, with these, you know, winglets, is that gonna really, you know, cause a lot of ventilation when you breach the wingtip? But I'm here to tell you it does not. Like I've breached a good part of this wing a few times in real long arcs, and it just keeps driving forward, you know, pretty much unfazed because of those narrow wingtips. So it's a fun wing, and I think a lot of the guys, you know, that are down there downwinding and connecting sets surfing are really gonna like this foil. Obviously the downwind racers are gonna love it. But again, really, you know, in terms of accessibility, almost anybody can ride this foil as long as you have good power in your wing. So for wing foilers, I think this is really going to be the most accessible choice for you in foils like this. And, you know, in terms of people that could ride this foil without a lot of difficulty, wing foilers, man, if you have good power in your sail, give this wing a shot. It is fun, and I could definitely see this and maybe even a larger size in my quiver for this year. As always, if you have any questions, comments, put those in the comments section below. Be sure to check out our other videos for the 7Cs foil that I have here. That's the other one that's releasing in the F1 line this year. And we'll also be doing a comparison video to help you choose which one might be right for you. This has been Tucker with MACkiteboarding.com, and we'll see you next time.